Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ganyan, thank you for stopping by. So, it's been a while since I uploaded my last video, and it's been a while since Borderlands gave us some new content, but now that DLC 6 is coming out in less than a week, I thought why not make a recap video for all the people who maybe played the game and left it, or for people who didn't even buy the game and are planning to buy it now, that the final DLC is coming out. So all of you will know and decide if you like the game or if you don't. As always, a like and a subscribe is very much appreciated. If you enjoy the video, it really helps the channel grow and my content gets to more people. So thank you for that. So let's start with the first topic I wanted to go over, which is the next generation version of the game. I just got my PlayStation 5 after months of waiting, and I just want to tell you the game runs great, 60 FPS, 4K, you can run it in performance mode or in visual mode, which basically means that the game focuses on visuals more or the performance more, which is 60 FPS 4K, which is really great, and I think the game was really meant to be played this way. So if you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, I feel ya, I've been playing it for months with that console, the base PlayStation 4. It still runs great, but if you have a chance to play it on the next generation, just play it there because it's much better and it looks way better. I think that this is a very big jump for it, like the jump that Borderlands 2 had from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. It's really big jump and it's really just a whole completely other game to play on the next generation. By far my favorite improvement that the next generation does for the game is the menus. They're finally not laggy. I really hate the laggy menus. I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but you use your menu most of the time in the game. Every time you want to stop the game, you open your menu. Every time you want to change a weapon, you open your menu. Every time you want to check your skills, you do the same. And on PlayStation 4, it was really laggy. It worked, but it was really laggy. Now it's smooth and it works just as it should. So I'm really happy for that. So that was my short opinion of the game on Next Generation and what I think of it and how it plays. Now let's get to the actual important stuff of the game, the state of the game right now in 2021, that's what the video is about. So we have 5 DLCs out right now, 4 story DLCs and 1 DLC that's called the Director's Cut, or the Designer's Cut, I keep mixing the two. It added a new game mode, Arms Race. It hasn't been updated since it came out, which is really disappointing, but I guess they're working on the next DLC, so they didn't have time to go back to it. Hopefully, by the time that the next DLC is out, and months from now, they will go back to Arms Race and update it and add more to it. We also have the new skill trees, which basically means that each Vault Hunter has 4 skill trees now, not just 3. We have a new level cap, 65. Which we didn't have back in the day. We have the 4 story DLCs, which I've mentioned. They are really good, except the last one. I don't really like it that much, but it's still okay. If you're planning to buy just one of them, my recommendation is to get the Xylorgus DLC, the Love and Tentacles DLC, the second one. It's by far the best DLC from the story-based ones. If you're looking for something with more gameplay content, I would recommend the Designer's Cut, or the new Director's Cut, which is coming out in a week, but we will talk about that in a bit. For now, just keep in mind we have 4 story DLCs, 1 gameplay DLC, and they are all good. They added a lot of new locations, so the main game itself had a lot of places to see. Now with the DLCs we have double that amount. We have 4 new planets and we had 4 planets in the game, so we have now 8 planets. So it's a lot of content in the game, especially if you get it for $60 for the whole game, the special edition or the deluxe edition, whatever that is. You can get everything in it for a price of a normal game, which is a crap load of content. It's a lot of content even compared to Borderlands 2, which, if you've watched any of my other videos, I was complaining that we don't have as much content as Borderlands 2 had, but by now they did a really good job of adding content, so we do have a lot now. And speaking of content, the new Director's Cut is coming out next week. It's gonna add a raid boss so all of you people who didn't continue with the game because it had no raid boss, now you can have a raid boss. I'm really excited for it. It's gonna cost a lot of iridium, but luckily we have a lot of places to get iridium from. So if you wanna have raid bosses in Borderlands, we're gonna have our first Borderlands 3 raid boss next week. We're also gonna have a lot of new machines and mechanics. We're gonna have anointment reroll, so if you loved the game because you hated anointments, we can reroll anointments starting next week for a little cost of iridium, I think, which is gonna bring a lot of life back to the game. A lot of people are getting excited for it, including me. There's a lot of stuff that we've been asking for since the game came out, and they're adding it right now. A new anointment reroll, a new raid boss, more story missions, and there's a chest that's in a room under the bridge in Sanctuary 3, which is basically a huge chest that will give you content from the whole game. So that's including DLCs. As far as I know, I might be wrong, but I've heard that it will give you chests and loot from the DLCs even if you don't own the DLCs. Another thing coming in next week's DLC is new daily and weekly challenges. They already talked about them. It's gonna be mostly like Destiny. We're gonna have some collections that you're gonna have to do daily and weekly challenges for to unlock special cosmetics and weapons from these collections. It's called Vault Cards, I think. So they're gonna release 3 Vault Cards until the end of 2021 and more after 2021. You're gonna log on onto the game every day or every week and get your challenges, which will help you progress in the Vault Card. From what I understand, it's gonna work like leveling up. So basically, down in the middle of the screen, instead of seeing your character's level, you're gonna see a Vault Card level, which by playing you will level up and unlock the rewards in the Vault Card. It's gonna be kind of a mix between a Battle Pass and just normal leveling up progression. I think they're gonna do it good. Gearbox usually does these things very well, and they don't like screwing us over and making us grind for no reason. Now, when it comes to complaints about the state of the game, my only problem with it is that the legendary drops are still too high. Just like many people complained when the game came out, legendaries drop from many basic enemies. You will get at least 1 legendary on every map you go into. Sometimes you will get up to 10-20 legendaries in the Circles of Slaughter, which are horde-based modes. But hopefully with the new DLC releasing, they will lower the drop chances, because we will have a lot more places to get the legendaries from. This is the best time to lower the drop chances, and I really hope that Gearbox does that. But the state of the game as it stands right now before the DLC, we have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of places to go to, a lot of loot to chase, but we don't have that much endgame boss fighting like we had in Borderlands 2. So for those of you who loved Borderlands 2 and love the raid bosses, check back when the DLC is out and when the reviews for the DLC is out, so we can talk about how the raid boss is and if it's worth getting it. But most of the problems that people had with the game, you should know, Gearbox already fixed or are trying to fix, like the anointments. When it comes to the performance, they added a lot of fixes and they crushed a lot of bugs, so the game runs great and it looks good. So if you played back when it came out and left it, now it's in a really good state and you can come back and expect a complete game. And one last improvement that a lot of people were really happy about is the improvements to the Mayhem levels. If you've been here long enough to know what the Mayhem levels are, they're just like the OP levels from Borderlands 2. They add difficulty to the game. There are 10 Mayhem levels, each added a different modifier. For example, sometimes enemies would be less vulnerable to fire or to ice or whatnot, but many people didn't like all the goofy stuff that these Mayhem levels added, so they ended up adding an extra Mayhem level, Mayhem 11, which is basically just an OP level from Borderlands 2. So if you had problems with the Mayhem levels and you left because of that, you can come back. Mayhem 11 is here and it feels just like Borderlands 2, but even more balanced. And with DLC 6 coming out in just a week that's focused specifically on endgame stuff, it's gonna have a lot of story missions, places to go to, endgame content, weapons, loot. Hopefully, with the release of DLC 6, Borderlands 3 will have as much replayability as Borderlands 2 had, if not even more. So, for now, just know we had 5 DLCs, all of them good, the game runs great, you have a lot of stuff to do, and the DLC is coming out in less than a week, and the community is really excited, and a lot of people are coming back to the game to check it out. So if you're interested, if you played Borderlands 2, I would recommend to get Borderlands 3 at this point. You won't regret it. There's just a lot of content to go through. There are more than 100 hours of gameplay stuff to complete and see in the game, and more if you replay it. So that's all I had to say for the state of Borderlands 3 in 2021, 1 week before DLC 6, the big DLC that will change everything. So let me know what you think. Are you excited for the DLC? Are you planning to buy the game? Did you leave the game and you're coming back to it? Whatever you're thinking, let me know down below in the comments. Also, thank you so much for subscribing. We're already at 210 subscribers, which is a lot considering that I haven't been uploading for 4 months now. So thank you for supporting the channel, and in case you're interested in more Borderlands news, Borderlands content, be sure to check the channel, subscribe, do all of that YouTube stuff. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.